Hey there, comic book fans. I'm back from the comic shop again this week. Pretty big week for me with 9 comics, 8 off my pull list, 1 I pulled off the shelf. But first, I've got a complaint. I'm a big fan of the Puma Blues. I don't know if you guys know this series. I have all the original issues. I even have a page of original art from the Puma Blues. And this book came out, I think, 6 years ago. And it's been on my pull list for 6 years. So this week I finally went, why don't I get that before it disappears? $20 on Amazon. The complaint I have is, this might be the worst binding ever. It doesn't open. Look at that. There's no bow to that binding. As I try to open, I'm supposed to read this. It won't open. And I even thought maybe, because it's glued right to the spine, I thought maybe it was one of those where somehow the glue stuck to the spine, but it's really, it looks like sewn binding. So you stick a knife in there to try and get the glue out. But look at this little thin palette. I can get part of it to one side. But that's really stuck in there. I don't know if I'll break it more. Like this side won't get in at all. Same with this side over here. One side, I can stick the knife in a little bit. There we go. And that won't even make it all the way to the center. So it's like, I don't know if this is just terrible, terrible binding or the glue is stuck. But either way, how am I supposed to read this? Look at it. It won't open at all. It won't fall open at all. It's just stuck. So that really annoyed me. I was going to do a video showing off this book and some of the issues. But I was like, I can't even open it. How am I going to show it off? Anyway, now I'm going to show you my museum covers of the week that were on the top of my printer all week. Once again, I went Indie and Marvel. I'm doing 2 of them now that I can look at. This is Thor 261. This is Walter Simonson's first run. It's kind of forgotten because it was just okay. And I think also because it's got John Buscema covers. This is a John Buscema and Frank Giacoia cover, I think I looked up. Fun, nice Thor fighting aliens cover. And this is Mr. X number 12, a Dean Motter cover. Sort of classic Dean Motter, highly designy Mr. X cover. I don't think Mr. X went past this very much. I don't even know if I have a hardcover of all the Mr. X stuff and most of the original issues, but I don't think I have the end of the series issues. I wasn't as interested in the end of the series, I think. And my free thing of the week, comic shop news, Devil's Reign. Looks like a Spider-Man thing, because Spider-Man's eyepieces can shatter? I guess I have seen them shattered before. It just always looks weird. A hard rain. Gonna fall. I'll probably never read that one. Let's see what else is in here. Red Sonja. Evil Ernie. Vengeance and Vampirella. Baffo Laughs. Okay. Just more stuff to show us. Let's see what comics we got this week. Oh, the first one is one I pulled off the pull list. I was a little unsure of this, but I liked the cover. It's The Vault. And I like Peter Milligan's writing generally. This is Peter Milligan and Sally Cantorino, artist. And I kind of liked the art, but just the premise kind of turned me off. The government has outlawed displays of emotion. Yeah, how many times have we read that dumb story? But we'll see what Peter Milligan does with it in this first issue. Like I said, I liked the art. I kind of really liked this cover, the colors in it. And what is it? Dave and Bisa love each other. No, Dax and Bisa love each other. Bisa? I don't know. Lisa with a B. Love each other, but this new and terrifying world, love is dangerous. Feeling anything is dangerous. Earth has a new and terrible invader. Monsters that deprive us of our very feelings that make us human. A shocking tale of pent-up emotions, perilously loud sex, and forged composure in the face of unspeakable horror. That just sounds dumb, but like I generally like Peter Milligan's writing, and I liked the artwork in it, so I'll give it a read. Oh, and by the way, one thing I didn't pick up today that I liked the first issue of, but not enough. Echolands number 2, the J.H. Williams one that opened sideways, came out. I just decided I didn't like it $5 an issue enough. I want to see if they come out with a nice collected edition that opens sideways nicely. And if they do, I'll get the collected edition. But $5 an issue for 20 pages just made me go, it didn't make the cut. But who knows? They had shelf copies. Maybe I'll buy one if it's a slow week, because this was not a slow week. Especially with $7 comics like Sandman, Lock and Key, which I enjoyed the first issue of. People had I have not read much Sandman, and people had to fill me in on the. I think it was on my when the first issue came out on our Friday night Cavern of Chaos show. People were filling me in about the Sandman stuff because I just didn't know. I was like, "What's this? Who's this guy? What's he doing?" But I think the first issue came out months ago, so I barely remember it. One of the Lock and Key guys went to the Sandman house. I think it took place in like the 20s or the teens. The 1920s and 19 teens, like 100 and something years ago. And like the Sandman is chained up in some basement, which had to do with the Sandman comic, but I don't know. Then we got Usagi Yojimbo, the Dragon Bellow Conspiracy. At least I think it's Bellow. I've heard other people say below. Are bellow and below spelled the same? Or is bellow one L? I don't know. It could be either. Hey, there's a dragon. The Dragon Below Conspiracy or the Dragon Bellow Conspiracy. One of those bellows that you go and looks kind of like a dragon. I don't know which it is. Wow. Never thought of that before. I don't know if bellow is spelled with one L or two. But always good. This is the reprint one that's been colored. And this is also an Usagi story that's like 6 issues or so, which is unusual for Usagis, which are usually 1, 2, or 3. So it's an extra long paced one. Then we've got some Spawn 322, the still only a $2.99 comic that's on my pull list now, just because it's still only $2.99. I didn't pick up any of the. Well, I picked up the first issue of King Spawn, and that was enough. I didn't pick up the second issue. I don't think I need 4 Spawn comics a month, but I'll pick up like the other 2 first issues that come out. But you know what? I'm not even getting the Todd McFarlane and Carlo Barberi. I'm not even going to tell you I'm a huge Spawn fan, because I'm not. I just started picking it up at like 316 for the first time, and it's 316 issues. It's on my pull list, so we'll give that one a read. And one I always pick up is anything Terry Moore does. There's Serial, issue number 7. Wow, I didn't realize we were all the way up to 7 now. There's our little girl who's really a thousands-year-old demon. She's tracking down a serial killer. But the serial killer is also killing sex offenders, so it's getting it's one of those, you're not really sure who you're rooting for. But the serial killer also killed her friend, who was married to a sex offender, so she doesn't like that. Oh look, I didn't even realize there was a Gru versus Tarzan number 3 in this. Ruferto. I liked the first issue best. The second issue was okay. The first issue had this great double-page splash. There hasn't been a double-page splash like that since. Oh, there's a last page splash that looks pretty cool. Like I said, it was the first issue double-page splash of a Comic-Con that sold me the whole series. So here we go. Sergio Argone, Mark Evanier, and Thomas Yates. Fun little distraction. Oh, look, Crossover is back. Issue number 8. Donnie Cates, Jeff Shaw, D. Cuniff, John J. Hill. Madman over there. And this one's been fun. Superhero story about like superheroes from the Marvel and the DC universe and every other in the Dark Horse universe have like kind of crossed over into our universe, and things are going crazy. And last issue was sort of a done-in-one by a different author. It's a solid B. Not my favorite, but good. And since it's, not a it's only $4, not $5. So, Batman, Batvark Coronavirus. Here's the latest Cerebus in Hell, which is comic strips. And this one, they give you the number on it. This one is 1572 of 2167. And only 2167 makes me believe. But I actually liked the last issue. The last issue was another coronavirus joke issue. And I was really suspect that Dave Sim would be able to make any kind of interesting or funny coronavirus jokes, but he did. I ended up liking it more than I thought. So hopefully I'll like this one too. But that doesn't seem to be parodying any famous Batman cover. Thus, the smaller number of 2100. Right. When it parodies a famous cover, the number seems to go up to 2800 or even 3200. But with the less interesting parody covers, it drops down to, this one is 21. I've seen it go as low as 15. And it looks like there's going to be a Superman Muhammad Ali. I imagine that one will sell more than 21. We'll have to see. It's fun that he puts the number on and I keep track of it. And the last thing I got this week is the Department of Truth number, issue 13. Been enjoying this series. This is the one I picked up with issue 6 or 7 because I read some of it on Hoopla, so I just started buying it. Conspiracy. The Department of Truth is there to tamp down conspiracies because the more people who believe in conspiracies, the more they rewrite history and become true. And this one I actually switched out the cover on. I had, in my pull list, I had, I think, cover A. This is cover B, and I think the cover B's have this woman in red with the X's over her eye. I think I switched out last month's, too. But I like the woman in red covers, I think, better than the normal ones. Oh, look, they're filming the moon landing. That's what's going on. I didn't even notice that as I was looking at it. But there you go. There are my comics for the week. Now let me show you a little art. By the way, I'm still working on some stuff for setting up my Patreon. And I've got the third art magazine, Art from the Edge of the Dream World, done. So now I'll be able to start that up soon. So I'll have something to give to people on Patreon. Meanwhile, here's some Dreams of Things cover pencils I just did that I blow up into inks. Just did these two. And I finished coloring this one. Dreams of Things 120 marker colors. Strange art face. And I inked 122. Oh, these are the ones ready to be inked. 127 and 128. That'll do sometime. Felt like inking this one this week after I finished working on magazine number 3. I like the way that face came out. A lot of cool shapes in there. Have to get some color in it. I have one more painting I have to do too. I have one more of these size canvases that I wanted to get done this summer. Even though it's not this summer anymore, it's now the fall. All right, so there you go. Some comic books, some art, and you guys have a good week out there.